Welcome to an introduction to communication and engagement with your students using Brightspace. My name is Heather Ryan and I will be your presenter today. I'm a customer success specialist at D2L who supports our K-12 clients with their use of Brightspace for online learning. In the time that I spent, or in my time prior to D2L, in my time prior to coming to D2L, I worked in education. I taught in Seoul, South Korea for 11 years at an English immersion school, primarily working with the grades 4 and 5 for the last 6 years. And then prior to that, my time was spent working in kindergarten. On the page or the presenter side in front of you, you'll see both my Twitter handle as well as an email address that can be used for any specific questions to Brightspace. My Twitter handle can be used to help promote any kind of events that are coming up with from D2L. Often I will post tips and tricks or release note information or updates that are coming that are exciting and relevant to educators. So if you're interested in knowing the ins and outs of D2L, that's one great way to find out. Today's agenda is going to include a little exploration about what Brightspace is, and then we're going to jump right into some of the tools to look at ways that we can communicate and engage with our students. So we'll be looking at updating and customizing your homepage banner using replace strings. We'll be walking you through how to create an announcement, specifically using insert stuff to make it a multimedia focused announcement. We'll look at a way to make interactive activity feed posts, as well as an introduction to awards, which will allow you to recognize student achievements. So moving forward, we're going to jump right in here and have a look at what is Brightspace. And to begin, we're going to talk about D2L, which is the company. And our product that we built is Brightspace. So I like to just kind of use the analogy of Apple being the company and their product being the iPhone. And then of course, inside the iPhone, we have all of our apps that do the work for us. And we have that inside Brightspace as well. We just have the tools that do the work for us in Brightspace. And we'll be looking at a few of those different tools like activity feed and announcements today. Finally, I just wanted to highlight the online community which we call Brightspace Community. And this is a wonderful resource available to all users of the Brightspace platform to help them with their practice. And what it does is it has a few different roles. One of the most exciting roles that's involved there is the community aspect, where Brightspace users, educators, as well as D2L experts are able to work together to answer questions, to talk about best use cases, and best practices using the tools as well. So it's a wonderful place to get any answers to any questions that you might have. Additionally, you can find any of our documentation or video references and video tutorials are all linked through the Brightspace community as well. So, and there is a live chat pod that's available there called Let's Chat. If you do have any questions, it connects directly to our support team. And next, I just wanted to highlight real quick here that for the second year in a row, D2L has been honored with the award of the Best K-12 Learning Management System. We're very proud to receive this award 2 years in a row. So I just wanted to highlight that in there before we jump into our demo of the product. So we're going to have a quick look here and look at checking out our demo of the product. And again, we're going to be looking at these pieces inside the demo. So I'm just going to pull up my demo environment here so that we can have a quick look. Here we go. So coming into my course homepage here, or sorry, my district homepage here. So when I land on my district homepage, this would be where I would come in as I've logged into my program or into the program. And what I'll see here is I see here is my course home or my courses widget. Widget's just the location of information on a website basically. So what I can do here is I see all the courses that I'm currently registered in. If your organization district does not have the My Courses widget set up, it's not to fear. You can use this little waffle here at the top called the course selector. Excuse me. And you can click into that and search for any of the courses that you might be looking for. So whether it's a course name, course code maybe. Some organizations you can search by your last name as an educator if you're the primary teacher. or the homeroom teacher for the course, you can look for that information there as well. So for our purposes today, I'm just going to click into the Brightspace classroom, which will bring me to my course homepage. And as you can see in my homepage here, there's already been some things that have been built out here for my students to engage with and to look at. So we're going to be looking at how to do that basically this morning. So what we're going to be doing today to start out is I just want to start with the course homepage here and the banner and some quick customizations that you can use here. So in this little ellipsis in the corner, I can drop that down to be able to change the banner image or change the banner text. So I click on change the image. I have a variety of photos in the photo library that are available to you. They're built in from D2L. You can also search for certain photos here. So maybe you're doing a unit on colors and you want to find something to put into your course banner to use to reflect that. So I can change that here, and I've just added in the the crayons color picture to create that image there. So whatever's suiting for you can be very customizable here to make it suiting for you and for your students. You can also change the banner text that's here so that it becomes a little bit more enticing for your students. So So maybe you want to engage with them about a question that you're interested in. So maybe you're interested to know if they're excited for the pools they're going to open, or maybe there's a sporting event that's coming up. So one example I saw was e-learning teachers using the course banner to engage with their students about cheering for their home team, sort of thing. So this is a really a great opportunity for you to be able to talk to your students or engage with them in a unique way. So. And then what we can do here is we can add something that's called a replace string. So there's some replace strings that you can use, and you can click into that to have a look at that. But the most common one used inside the banner would be bringing in the person who's logged in's name. So to do that, what I would do is type in my message, and then where I wanted the name to be input, I would use curly brackets, and I would type in first name, all one word, and then curly bracket at the end. And what this does, it will pick the name of whoever's registering or logging into your course, and we'll bring it into the banner text here. So once I click that on, there you can see that my first name, I'm the person registered here, is the name that's showing there. So that's just a way for you to personalize and engage with your students really quickly, and as soon as they log in, you can welcome them, you could ask them a question, you could cheer for a team, lots of opportunity there to just kind of personalize it and make it a little bit more suiting for you and your students. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the activity feed widget. So if we look right down here, I see activity feed showing here right on my course homepage, and I have a couple things that I can do inside activity feed. So I'm going to click on this bright blue button here where it allows me to create a post, and it gives me two options. I have a message option and I have an assignment option. The message option is very much a quick way to engage with our students and allows us to create quick posts on the fly to interact with them. So maybe I just want to engage with them about what they did on the weekend, and I can go ahead and do that, and I can ask them a question or put some details here, and I can have the comments toggle turned on or off. This is also a great opportunity for you to put any kind of announcements or features that you might want to just remind your students of really quickly. You can put it in that messaging piece there, and it'll remind them that they have either work to do or to bring something or whatever you need to communicate to them. Also, it should be noted that if your district has Brightspace for Parents set up, anything that you post into the activity feed automatically feeds into Brightspace for Parents, which would communicate to those families at home that are supporting students. You can attach any files or some details here if you want. If you wanted to make it a little bit more engaging or robust, you can do that here. Another piece that I really love about Activity Feed is the ability to post later by time and date if you want. So I, for example, am a pre-planner, so I would very likely sit down on Sunday evening and put in all of my daily announcements for the next week and make sure that they were scheduled to go out at 8 a.m. each morning, for example. For our purposes though today, I just want to highlight and show what it looks like when we post it in here. So in activity feed, anything that has been pinned to the top will show up first, and then the messaging that we build out afterwards is chronological by date and time. So it would show there for our students. They could begin adding in some comments and engage in that post. The other piece that you can do inside activity feed is to create an assignment. So if we click on the assignment and we open that piece up here, we can see that there are a variety of pieces inside here that we can fill out and build. So I'm just going to add in some material here that I pre-typed out for us so that we didn't have to suffer through my terrible typing. So I'm just going to copy and paste that in here. Some instructions as well. So the instructions are there, and you can, of course, go ahead and bold and highlight and add some bullets in there if you needed to. So you can edit and change that. If you want, you have a choice. Maybe you want to underline, just to create a little bit more dynamic of an environment there for it. You can go ahead and add in your due date if you want to here. If you are using the grades tool, you can have it directly feed into your grades tool as well. You can choose your submission type. So there are a few different submission types that you have here. You have your file submission, which would require your students to upload a file, PowerPoint or Word document. You have your text submission here, which allows your students to build their answers directly inside the platform using the HTML editor or the WYSIWYG editor, as it's sometimes called. This allows them to work right inside the environment without having to go into any other locations to bring in their materials. And these would be the two most commonly used during online learning. However, of course, you could have an on-paper submission in the classroom, or you could be observed in person. This one could come into play if you were having a conference, perhaps, and you still wanted to make notes inside the assignments folder. You could do that there as well. For us, we're going to go ahead and just leave it as a file submission because it's a photos collection that we're asking for here, I believe. Writing, oh no, this is a writing one. So actually we'll make that a text submission so that they're building it directly inside. If I want to build out any kind of additional features here or attachments, I can go ahead and do that here, whether it's from my computer and I'm uploading, or I'm bringing in from my Google Drive or my OneDrive. There's a variety of options there as well. And again, I can post it later in a scheduled post, or I can post it right now for my students, which is what I'm going to do. So now my students have an assignment that's showing here. For the students, they'll be able to dig into that and have a look at all those instructions. And then for a teacher, it shows me how many submissions have come here. If I was looking at this from the student perspective, this would be a bright blue button that said submit, and that would be where the student would enter into their folder to be able to do that together. Okay, so that's real quick here, building both a message and an assignment inside Activity Feed. The next piece that we're going to look at is the announcements tool, and the ability to use the announcements tool to create a really rich and dynamic announcement that's multimedia based. So again, I'm going to click onto the new announcement piece here. I've got a variety of materials that I've kind of pre-typed out here ready for you. So we're going to call this one, Have You Moved Today? A little daily physical activity for our students. So inside here, inside the new announcement, I've given it a headline. So it's going to be the title of my announcement. And then once I've come in here, I'm going to start building up my content. Now, what you see in front of you is the WYSIWYG or the HTML editor that's available throughout the platform to be able to create and create our content, type our content, as well as it's what we would see in those text submissions for our students. So they would have access to all of these tools as well as all of the editing features that are here. At the bottom, there's a few things just to call out. There's a spell checker and accessibility checker. So to make sure that any of the content you're building inside an announcement tool could be read by a screen reader, for example. You have a few other pieces here, but one of the other ones that I just like to call out is you can flip this to a full screen if you want to, if you just need a little bit more space to be able to see the content that you're building out, or you can work inside this real estate here. It really depends on what's better for you and how that looks. So what I wanted to highlight here is just a couple things. So we're going to start with our wonderful Insert Stuff button, which is one of my favorite tools found inside, or favorite buttons inside the platform, because it does do just exactly that. It allows us to insert all kinds of stuff. A couple things that I just want to call out here are the video note pieces. So video notes, great for creating a video recording. Hello, everybody. Puts a face to your course. Lets you interact directly with your students by creating this video, and that just you're able to speak to them. You're able to show them things, and it can be a really engaging piece to communicate with your students. You'll notice that there was 30 minutes of recording time available in Video Note. So you could use it to share your lesson instructions. You could provide a lecture even. It really depends on what your course is and the content that you need to deliver. Once you've created your Video Note, it is stored inside the platform. So that means that you're able to reuse it. So if you were providing instructions for bus delay, for example, you might be having to use that throughout the winter on a regular basis. So you may not want to re-record it every time. So you could put that information here. So you just want to make sure that you're giving it a pretty good title and adding the information that may give you the details as to what the actual video note is about. And then here underneath, you see where it says audio language. Audio language is our, is the list of options for what the language that you're speaking. So I was speaking Canadian English, I'm gonna choose that, because what it does is we have the ability here to automatically generate the closed captionings for your audio. So in the event that you had a student who required closed captioning, the system will automatically do it for you as long as you choose the correct language. If you don't want that in there, you can leave this listed as unknown and this box unclicked, and it won't affect your video. For our purposes, we're going to turn those closed captioning on, and we want to insert that directly in here. So we've put in our instructions here, and now we want to add in some more information. So let's just say we'll go ahead here. There we go. And we want to give some details for our students. So I'm just going to provide some instructions here. So I've gone ahead and done that. Oh. So insert those in there, and then I want to add an image here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the image button or add a file button. And from my computer, I can pull in items. I can drag and drop them or upload them directly. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this dinosaur yoga, and we will add that picture in here. Now what we could do here is add alternative text, and this basically lets any screen reader that may be going over the platform to understand what that image is and communicate that to the student who requires a screen reader. If you do not want to add the alternative text, which would be the verbal details of the image, you can click on the image as decorative, and the screen reader will automatically ignore it. Because I've already used this photo, it's asking me if I want to overwrite the file. I'm just going to override it because it's the same picture. So I'm just shrinking that down so it's a little bit smaller for the announcement itself. And I've gone ahead and updated that. So that's adding an image. Now, additionally, maybe I want to add in some more information for my students here. So maybe I want to have them check out a video, and I want to embed a video into my environment here. So I can go ahead and do that by going into insert stuff again. I have a couple options here. I can use my YouTube picker to do that, or I can insert the link if I have the link saved. For our purposes today, let's just hop into YouTube here, and I'm going to go with Trolls Yoga. Wonderful website of kid-driven yoga that you can use if you were interested. Cosmic Yoga is wonderful. And so I've gone ahead and done that here now. So now that video for YouTube is showing directly inside my announcement for my students, which means they're not going to have to leave my environment or my course to go find that video. It's already there for them. It's embedded in, and it's directly available for them to be able to use. So it's right there ready and for them to have access to. Now, the final piece that I wanted to bring into point here is the quick links button that's here. Quick links is a wonderful tool that allows us to bring in any of the other content that we've created inside our environment, or that we have located in our Google Drive or our OneDrive. So it allows us to create quick links directly in the announcement to access certain material. So if you had a live document that was in your Google Drive that you wanted your students to have access to, you could quick link it from here. You could also create some MS Teams meetings or a virtual classroom meeting. And that's what we're going to do today. So maybe I want my students to, well, actually, sorry, I skipped a step here. Let's put on those instructions again first, right? So let's go ahead and add the instructions in. So I'm just going to copy and paste those over. I want my students to try it together with me maybe. So I'm going to bring in, I'm trying to bring in, there we go. There it is, some information here. So do you want to try it together? If you have time today, let's try yoga together. Join me in some of your classmates at 1 p.m. today. I am going to highlight what I want quick linked, and so that it's when I create the quick link, it will show there. So I'm going to, now that I've added my instructions and I've highlighted, I'm going to choose the quick links button here in the top. And it's going to bring me a variety of options here, like we said before, but I'm creating a virtual classroom meeting. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to allow me to schedule basically a classroom meeting with my students. So what you see here is a variety of ones that I've already scheduled. I'm going to choose schedule meeting. And here, this is the title that should be mimicking what you want hot linked. Then you can create your time and date. So let's say I want this for tomorrow. We'll do it at 10 a.m. I want it for 60 minutes. I do not want it to be recorded, but you can choose to have it. You can publish the recording. You can allow for external participants, or you can just invite your class, and then you can choose to have it repeated if you want. I'm going to go ahead and save that so that it's showing in my list here, and then I'm going to choose one so that it hot links directly there. So now the link for my meeting for my students is located directly inside the announcement for them, and they're able to join us by just clicking on that and coming through. So now I've added into, I'm going to just pull this to full screen here. So now that I've added in here, this will be my instructional video. Here's some details about the photo that's here. I've got my YouTube video for them to try, and then I've created a virtual classroom meeting where my students and I can all come together and try yoga as a group. So that's the creation of the announcement. And then at the end, we can go ahead here and set a few things. So you could have a start date and an end date. So if you only wanted to show in your announcement feed for a certain period of time, that's there. You can add some additional features here. Now I will point out that any of these attachments that you put in would have to be downloaded to be able to be viewed or listened to, but they would be there for you. You can attach release conditions, which means that certain things have to be achieved or completed inside the environment before and those conditions have to be met before the announcement would be released. There are some details in the resource section about release conditions. You're more than welcome to explore and figure out which ones would be best suiting for you, and then attach them to your announcements if you see fit. For our purposes though, we're happy with everything, so we're just going to go ahead and publish it so that it shows up directly on our homepage. So here's just going to be the list of any announcements that I've created for review or to be able to be reused in the event that I wanted to. So you'd see any previous announcements created. But for our purposes, we're going to click back here to our course homepage, and we see here that wonderful announcement that we just created. Announcements are located or are created in chronological order for date and time, but you see there's that video note that I created, the instructions, the photo, the built-in YouTube, and of course that video conference that we set there for our students. So it comes all right there for them. They don't have to go searching for it. That piece is right there. So the big thing about announcements versus activity feed is really the multimedia piece and the way that you can bring everything in so that it's right there for them. And whereas the activity feed is kind of created more to be on the fly and applied for them. So those are two really quick ways to engage with and communicate with your students. And then the last piece that I wanted to take you through and highlight today is one of my favorite tools for student recognition, and that's the awards tool. If you look at your nav bar and you don't see the awards tool, you may have an arrow chevron here that you could use to drop down that would show you some of the additional tools that maybe are just kind of hidden. Or in the event that it's not there either, you can click into the course admin option. Course admin will show you all tools that are available to you, including the awards tool that's there. So I can click into it from my navigation bar or from the course admin to find out the awards tool. So what we see here when I first come into awards is any of the students that are in my class that have awards that have been issued to them. I get that kind of that bird's eye view. I can also look at individual students if I want to. I can issue awards and revoke awards from this dashboard as well. And then it would show them in different orders here, depending on how you wanted to have it organized to reference your students. You can look at your specific course awards here as well, and any other pieces that are here. Now, I do want to highlight that we do have the ability to create both badges as well as certificates inside Brightspace. So badges would be like little awards that would show up inside the environment, and whereas certificates would be a PDF file that a student would be able to copy and print very easily. For our purposes today, though, we're going to look at creating a badge. So I'm going to want to add an award to the course. So inside awards, you can share awards across your organization. So this would be what would be awards that somebody else has created that are being shared. But we're going to create a new award today. So I'm going to go ahead and add award to course, and we are going to create a new award. So maybe I want to name this Homework Legend. There are already some homework heroes in there, which would just be confusing maybe. So homework legend, I want to tell why they're getting this award. So you completed all the weekly assignments early this week. It could be for anything. It could be for participation. It could be for logging into a certain amount of content. It could be really for anything that you think will be valuable to your students. You have the ability here to create a award or a certificate. Now keep in mind that, again, certificates are similar to badges, but they have a printout that's available upon the actual completion. So they'll be able to print that if they want to. Otherwise, it's simply a badge related to the course. You can share this course across all your courses, or you can make it available to other creators as well. So the previous page where I said they were shared awards, that's, if you clicked on that, that's how that would be. You can set expiry dates, relevancy. You're more than welcome to look into any of these details, applying the reference material that's provided to you at the end of this session, and you can dig into that a little bit more. Here you have the ability to either upload your new icon, so maybe you have a very specific kind of dynamic or theme in your classroom that you want to carry on, so you can upload your own there, or you can choose from our existing library. And there are quite a few, and it does keep just expanding as necessary, or not as necessary, in alphabetical order. So it goes on for quite a time here. So you can dig in there and go through some of them to be able to see which one would be the most beneficial for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and here give a top performer, so I can see what that award badge is going to look like for them. Here on the issuer information, I do recommend creating this so that it shows whatever your name is here, so they see that the award's coming from you versus Brightspace. And if you want, you can change this so that it shows a contact email here that you would put in your own personal one, but or you can just leave it as a system no reply here as well. And then we're going to save and close our award once we're happy with it, and we will see it showing up here as our homework legend. So I can edit the properties, I can remove it if I want to, but as a teacher, I can come back over here to my class list and I can choose who I want to issue an award to. So let's say maybe I want everybody to get this award this week, and we're going to issue it. Which award do I want? Let's go homework hero, award criteria. So why are they getting this? You nailed it on all assignments this week. What that does is communicate to the students why they are getting it. It allows you to confirm here which students you've selected, and then you're going to issue it for them. So now I can see that those awards have been successfully added here to my students, and it goes ahead and it just reinforces for them what they've done well. So as a, I'm just going to quickly hop in here and show you what it looks like for a student who's logging in to see what that award is. And because I'm in a demonstration environment, I can actually impersonate one of my fake students here so that you can see what their experience is. So as soon as they log into the program, into everything, they're going to see all my recent posts that I've made and the content that has been created for them. But they are also now getting their award. So now they can see the award, what they did, why they got it, and who it came from. And then they can view any of their other awards that are there as well, or they can just see this one here. So it does have it's a great way to just kind of reinforce those pieces for our students and make sure that they know what we're seeing from them. So there's some of their other awards there that they can dive into and they can reference. All right, so I'm just going to pull back up our slide here. So today we went through the demonstration. We looked at how to customize your homepage banner with both text and image and using the replace strings to help make it a little bit more personal. We created a rich announcement using insert stuff and made it very multimedia based. I showed you how to create 2 different kinds of interactive activity feed posts. We looked at awards and we looked at how to preview it as a student. What I would encourage you to do is to go ahead and give it a try. See what you can do with regards to creating multimedia and engaging announcements using the WYSIWYG editor with insert stuff. Try adding a video note, an image, or bringing in other web pages to support your practice. Create an activity feed message to engage conversations with your learners and your students. You could try doing it for today. You can schedule it for next week. You could also work on creating an assignment inside activity feed as well. I would look at trying to create a new award, seeing if you can create a badge or a certificate that's able to recognize their participation or their homework completion or other cool things that you're doing inside your course. It's a great way to do that. The last and final piece of our presentation today is just the resources that are available to you. So we've gone ahead and curated quite a few resources for you. Please don't be overwhelmed. They're just here to help support you as you dive in and look into the tools and exploring your practice a little bit more. So what you see here is a variety of mostly video tutorials. Some of them are text-based, but most of them are video to help support what you're doing in your virtual classroom. If you're hungry for more and you want to dig into any of the tools that we talked about today or any of the other ones that are available to you inside Brightspace, here is quite an overwhelming list, I won't lie, of reference material for you. However, it is curated into themes versus levels, so that's something to point out there. So if you're looking for more information on communication and collaboration, you can dive into that material there for you. We would recommend that you look at one tool at a time to see if it's going to be something that will support your practice. Dig into that, get an understanding of that before you move on. We do recognize that Brightspace is an incredibly robust LMS. It's meant to engage with learners at all levels and in all areas. So there are some tools that perhaps won't be of value to you depending on what age you're working with, and there will be some that will be incredible for you. So make sure that you don't try to do too much too quick is basically what I'm saying. And then here we have quite a few previously recorded webinars that you're welcome to dive into and dig a little bit deeper. They're very much kind of stylized towards similar to what today is an instructional demonstration with some use case stories. So please feel free to dig into those there. They're available for you to access. And finally, I would just like to thank you for sharing your time with me today and learning a little bit more about how you can engage with and communicate with your students using Brightspace. I hope you found our introductory session today valuable, and we look forward to seeing you again. Have a wonderful day, and again, thank you for joining us.